live. Okay, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. Excuse me. Just still trying to get set up here. Live stream is new for me, so please forgive me if I act like an 80-year-old, but welcome in. We're going to be looking at the weekly forecast via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages. So let's get into it. Grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a beverage, kick back, relax. We are in Leo season, and it really is all about just like empowering ourselves to some capacity, finding our inner courage, our inner strength, especially, just kind of really like resonating with who we are, with our vibe, with what we bring to the world. And we're being challenged to do so in places that like, hey, I'm like really bad too with, I'm going to try to keep track of the chat box, but forgive me, I set up a little thing to help me do it here, but I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. So please just forgive me. I am a baby when it comes to this, a newbie, I should say. So that Leo energy, like I said, it's kind of challenging us in places that maybe we're not used to feeling strong, courageous, or something's new for us, right? We're kind of finding ways to navigate situations that we're used to doing in an old way. But unfortunately, or not, like with Pluto moving into Aquarius, it really is forcing us to make changes that better align with our heart. And as we moved through Cancer season, it highlighted a lot of people, situations that maybe weren't doing so, maybe weren't being very supportive of us, or a naysayer, or you kind of hear that they're saying one thing to your face, one thing behind your back. And so it's putting a different spin onto things. And as we're in Leo season, it's calling us to kind of understand what we're going through, who's who, what's what, and then empower ourselves to really make choices accordingly. Leo season's been a little bit rough too, to start off. We've been having or experiencing some obstacles, some bumps along the way. Thankfully, walking into this week, it looks like there is some tension lessening. And we're going to be having a full moon in Aquarius. So I'll get into all that. I like to start my readings off with blessings, just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles, limitations we might be coming into. It's also a really great time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. It also works. I promise. Spirit loves to speak to us in so many different ways. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, or if you're more interested in a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are aligned in self, when we're grounded, when we know who we are, what we want, etc., that's really the platform to manifest our happiness, our abundance, our fulfillment. And I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so we may see and understand the messages clearly, and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, Guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I am picking up this feeling of excitement walking into this week. Like I was mentioning, it's been a little rough. It's been a rough go. Emotions are kind of popping off, not horribly, but we're being inconvenienced is probably a good way to say it. Mercury is tensely aspected to Pluto right now, so it is resistant to the change, or people that are resistant to the change, people that don't really understand what we're doing, we're going to get some backlash from those individuals. But like I mentioned, like walking into this week, it's like not as bad as maybe what it has been. It's starting to even out a little bit more. We have that full moon in Aquarius, like I talked about. Aquarian energy is also air energy, and it is about expressing ourselves. We've been coming into this a lot lately where, yeah, people might not understand. That's what Aquarian energy is really related to. It's being inventive, it's being creative, and it's not being afraid to do so, right? There's a lot of things that we kind of hide because for whatever reason, not good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm not putting any judgment on it. But I'm definitely hearing this week, it's good to put your thoughts into words, right? Because it's going to better align you with what is right for you. And I feel like beginning of the week, it's definitely kind of taking this diplomatic perspective. Air energy also helps us emotionally detach, and that's been a little bit tough. Right now, we have a lot of fire energy, and so that fire energy is wanting to retaliate a little bit, or because we're trying to find our confidence, if we're not in the right space, then we can definitely kind of like lash out in a way that maybe we didn't want to, or say something, do something that we're not proud of. Also, we can have a better opportunity to stand up for ourselves at the same time, and that's really why Spirit's asking us to not be mute. Really take this time to like say what you need to say, because there are some things that are coming up. We see this beginning of the week with Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith has definitely been like this. She is naturally a trickster energy. So that thing kind of coming out of left field, or you don't expect coming, it's a blind spot, etc. She definitely has been playing on our instincts and challenging that intuition, especially with the sun this week. She's tensely aspected beginning off the week, and it shows you kind of needing to really take a step back. You need some level of autonomy, like your own independence, and to give you the security that you're kind of looking for, because it does kind of look like this is a week of communication where Mercury is highlighted. And it makes a lot of sense, actually, as I'm saying this, because Mars also moves into Libra this week. It's been in Virgo, so it's been forcing us to kind of slow down a little bit, take our time, make sure we're taking care of ourselves, investing in ourselves, self-love, self-care, building that strong foundation. And as it moves into Libra, it's going to start like networking, right? Like connecting with the right people at the right time. And this is where this messages communication comes into play midweek. So we really want to be mindful of who and what we're attached to. That value has come up of like who we're giving hall passes to. And a lot of times when we are just like authentically honest about like where we're at, what we want, what we think about a situation, it really helps us sift through where there might be some unhealthy attachments lingering. Venus is now in Cancer. It was in Gemini, so duality around people was being highlighted. And right now, it's just being tensely aspected by Mars, by Saturn, by Neptune, which is really that value of, like I was saying, investing in yourself and then like actually trusting your gut instincts. This is in our blocked energy this week. So we really want to make sure that we're listening, right? Again, not to be redundant, but to our gut instincts, really making sure that, yeah, we're like standing in our power. This is a really powerful way that you're starting off the week. You feel like you have it handled is what I'm seeing. And honestly, the energy, the astrology beginning of the week is really catering towards that. It's making us feel strong. It's making us feel empowered. Aside from some of the Venus aspects I was just talking about and that Black Moon Lilith, like if we're dealing with people or situations that are kind of rebelling against the healing, essentially is what this is saying. I see you as like claiming this for yourself, whatever that means. Like healing can be a myriad of things. I'm looking at this as like just bettering yourself to whatever capacity, because you do feel strong, because you do feel like you're able to kind of weigh things diplomatically. And I feel like the more your energy is standing in that power, the more people, situations are picking up on it. They're feeling that energetic boundary, so to speak. And so it does look like where that's going to be challenged a little bit. Maybe right now or beginning of the week, you're kind of just staying in your safe zone is what I'm hearing, right? Keeping it simple, making sure that you're not putting yourself out there unnecessarily, because I think, yeah, it looks like there's a lot going on. This is a lot of heavy change. This is like you changing again, or I'm hearing it as like, you know where this change is headed. Even if like it hasn't started yet, or you're kind of like looking towards the future because this change is up and coming. Whatever you're doing right now definitely feels like the preparatory work. And we're seeing that confirmed in the astrology because of all the positive aspects to that Saturn and Neptune conjunct, meaning they're right on top of each other. They're in Aries, and they're really wanting us, again, to trust what our instincts are saying. It's weeding out the anxiety, and that's really important to do. We're just doing that all across the board in Leo season, because Leo does challenge us, encourage us, empower us to be like strong in ourselves, right? To have pride in who we are and what we bring to the table. And so much of that Pluto moving into Aquarius is encouraging us to do that, right? So we are aligning with things that are good, that are valuable, that bring good things, that add benefit and value to our life, is what I should say. But we are like, there are some things of the past, things either lingering, loose ends that do keep popping up, something that you have committed to that's still kind of weighing on you is what I'm seeing. A commitment, a responsibility that's also just like, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of movement is what I'm seeing. I feel like as much as, like, to me, this feels like something that is old news, or you've been trying to move away from it for quite some time, because your energy feels like you have some distance from this. I don't know if someone's digging up the past. That would make a lot of sense as to where this attachment card is coming into play. But it might be a little bit of testing energy, right? Like midweek, our emotions are getting the best of us, unfortunately. It's tensely aspected to Venus, to Jupiter, to Saturn, to Neptune. And and as much as it can pick up on Black Moon Lilith's games, at the same time, our ego like so badly wants that validation. It wants that validation from whatever this attachment could be. And again, it feels like this is something that like you either committed to or is important to you, or you feel drawn to for whatever reason, but it hasn't really worked out, right? This is that value of someone, something like taking it for granted, taking you for granted, taking, not appreciating. And it does look like light is being shed on this week. It's almost like you can't escape it. Oftentimes we get this energy with the full moon. And as much as I want to say this might be a little bit of a test, it feels like a test that you're prepared for, that you're ready for, that you know is coming. And that's why, like, because as much as maybe some past things or things that feel a little bit messy, that feel a little bit uncomfortable are coming out of the woodwork this week. You also feel really strong in your direction and how you want to move. I think that whatever the conversation is, whatever these messages are midweek, you might feel really strong in your response towards them. Like you're like, good, okay, I really am happy with myself. It feels a little bit like a testing energy, or like when all is said and done, you felt like you overcame something. But then I feel like that's kind of where that attachment starts to creep in. And we're seeing this end of the week. Like I said, we have a full moon. It's not, the energy is actually not that bad. But on the surface level, like more of our harmonious transits in the astrology are within those outer planets. The outer planets, like it's our spiritual evolution. It's how we grow, evolve more on the mental, emotional, spiritual planes versus the physical. The inner planets represent those physical day-to-day things, right? So I feel like it's still calling you to believe yourself is what I'm hearing. Like, I feel like you overcome something. I feel like you feel really good about it. And then as you have a few days to think, or like the high wears off, the dust kind of settles, it's like, oh shit, a little bit of like, well, should I really have done that? Should I listen to what they said? Because there is a little bit of, well, whomever, whatever this is that you're dealing with, they know you, they know how you operate or how you used to operate once upon a time. And it's familiar, right? And when it's familiar, it's way easy for our brain, our mental, emotional to go back to those really comfortable spaces. And it's someone that does maybe feel secure, or you put this level of security in once upon a time. The Queen of Coins has been popping up for us a lot in our collectives. Very interesting. Three of Wands. It does look like a meeting of the minds. And it doesn't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. It looks like a situation's actually moving forward, and there is like some progression. But perhaps you might like lose yourself a little bit when it comes to dealing with this person's situation. Let's look at this instinct card. Why is it being blocked for the collective this week? It's slowing you down. And I think maybe in ways that you've been trying to speed yourself up, but there's something getting in the way, right? This Knight of Swords is really great at making plans, but when he's bummed out, when he's disappointed around the past, and then we have this like past energy lingering, I don't know, it might be because it kind of feels like either something starts and then stops. Like maybe you get some messages, some communication, maybe you run into someone out of the blue and it's like a happy gathering, but then it just kind of tapers off. You know, it feels like you're back in this waiting game, and that's where it makes it really hard for you to pump the brake, or makes it hard for you to continue to push forward. And yeah, because there's our Libra energy again. So we're getting double confirmation on this justice. Libra's really good at, balancing the scales, right? And the thing is with the Queen of Swords, her story always is, no matter whether it hurts her or not, she's still able to make the most diplomatic decision, the decision that actually makes the most sense, regardless of like what's being said, right? She can really kind of like sift through, pick up on people's BS, and even if it is a bummer for her, she'll still let it go because she's able to do that, right? Maybe this is something that is taking some time to release and let go of. Maybe this is something that you need to be a little bit more gentler with yourself around, or it just involves a lot of people, a lot of different thoughts and opinions, because we're having all these court cards pop up. This has also been happening a lot regularly in our readings. They might have been the ones that didn't get uploaded last week. I swear I was having so much trouble. I'm blaming Mercury retrograde, but totally thank you for your patience. That's also why I went live tonight. So it looks like whomever, whatever you're dealing with, like, I do see you drawing a line in the sand. I see you like, or that's what you're being challenged to do. I think that there are boundaries that need to be set here. And I feel like it might be a little bit hard for you to completely see and understand who and what those are. Because there's a little bit of wallowing in misery, a little bit of, and I think that this kind of just goes back to end of the week. We're seeing this with the full moon where Mars is tensely aspected to Saturn. So actually doing the work, and because there's this part of us that wants our partnerships, that wants our relationships just to be happy, fine, well, and good. And the places where they're not, the places where they're challenging us to either say what we need to say so that there is more balance, there is more harmony, or cut it loose, let it go. That's a hard thing to do, right? And especially when we want people to not be that way, or we're not ready to let go of some of this stuff. But that's essentially what's being mirrored back to you this week. The places where maybe you do have a little bit of attachment, where there are some maybe past people, past situations still kind of lingering around you, even if it is just energetically, even if you just feel like your mind, your emotions keeps being brought back to that space of dealing with whatever that issue was, etc. It definitely feels like you're trying to sift through some of that stuff, trying to figure out what truly is worth being said, what truly is worth being put to your voice. And I feel like instinctually, that's where we're struggling the most this week. And again, a lot of that is because of Neptune and Saturn both in retrograde in Aries. We have to trust, but we're not. We're second guessing because, again, a lot of the stuff that we're being challenged around is stuff that is a little uncomfortable. Maybe we're not used to, we're still getting our footing around. Or, like I said, we want to believe that something is exactly what they said, when in fact, ... right? Wah, wah. But it is the cycle of change. I'm hearing that for sure, 100%. This kind of reminded me of some obstacle in the middle, right? It is highlighting the obstacles is what I'm hearing. It is highlighting the obstacles and places where change is going to be super valuable. That it's actually going to do you a world of good. It's the process. The turning of the page is what I'm hearing. And again, that's being highlighted to you this week through how people communicate, what they're saying. Trying not to get so, making sure it doesn't rub our ego the wrong way. I definitely feel your feels. I'm always a huge proponent of that. But make sure it's not it's more you're operating out of those feelings of rejection. Because, especially in those places where people, situations are just putting you down, pushing you down, making you feel less than, making you feel unworthy, etc. Those are the dynamics that we're really being asked for. Yeah, to kind of this is finding new community, connecting with the magic of life. Not to be a cheeseball, but, just that value of believing that what you want is possible, especially if you are coming from a space where there has been a lot of people, situations putting you down for what you think, for what you feel, or how you're interacting, how you're engaging, things that you want to do with yourself. This is about aligning, right? Realigning to your soul. And yes, more on that spiritual plane. But again, that's where all those planets in retrograde we have right now are kind of impacting our lives, right? Because they're calling us towards that quote unquote spiritual evolution. I should have highlighted that Mercury is actually wrapping up retrograde. It goes direct on the 11th. So that kind of goes back to some of that tension we're experiencing with communications, the way that people are interacting, or the way that they are kind of able to speak to our heart, pull at our heartstrings, etc. It's really good to be mindful of that stuff, making sure that, you know, there are people here that like want to bring balance, but I feel like there's also some things that maybe have put you out of balance in the past. Things that like, I feel like maybe you are a little bit hesitant about getting wrapped up into again, or maybe that's why it's been hard to make some of the changes, because you don't want to step foot back into that thing again, right? But this is definitely about trusting your instincts, trusting where spirit is leading you to, what has brought you to here, right? Using that wisdom that you've gained to date. And, you know, I think this week is, again, it's really about connecting with our intuition and being open to what that is saying to us, and then acting on it accordingly. It might seem a little awkward, but it's actually like kind of bringing in the change that we are hoping for and that we're desiring. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you, everyone who tuned in and bared with me. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Thank you so much. No, I'm sending love and blessings back your way. Have a great night. Sorry, I don't know how to end these fluidly. I gotta step up.